Hello, everyone. I am Founding Father Benjamin Franklin, and welcome to the Step Up America Foundation podcast. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we celebrate incredible Americans from all walks of life. You may hear from a NASA astronaut, a professional or amateur athlete, a musician, and of course, current and past military heroes, just to name a few. And who knows, you might even learn a thing or two along the way. Well, that's enough from me. Let me introduce you to our hosts, John McIntosh, Mark Renahan, and Adrian Garcia. Take it away, team!
And welcome to the Thursday edition of the Step Up America podcast / Facebook Live show. I'm your host, John McIntosh, and I'm always blessed to have four eyes over here, Mr.
I'm wearing them today.
After all the grief you gave me yesterday,
I know, it was a tough day yesterday.
Darts. Yeah. So, but in all seriousness, Mark Renahan, the voice of Ben Franklin. Without him, this project would not be what it is. So.
Oh, you're saying too much. Without everybody, this project wouldn't be what it is. It's great to be here. It's a lovely day, and we have a special guest today, and we're going to play the games and all the fun. So thank everybody for tuning in.
Excellent. We also have Adrian Garcia, one of the facilitators in our classroom, along with our engagement coordinator, and he does a ton of other things, scheduling, all that kind of stuff. So welcome, Adrian. How are you?
Thank you, John. I am doing great. Just happy to be here. Very much excited for today's guest. So
excellent. And I didn't mean to cut you off, bud. Were you done?
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
done.
Sorry about that. And we also have the one and only Noah, our engineer. Without him, this couldn't happen. So thank you, Noah.
You're very welcome. It is very fun back here.
All right. Very good.
Good to hear.
We have a very special guest on the phone who's going to share about a program that is absolutely incredible. Mark, do you want to introduce him, and then we'll get into our regular geography game?
I will, and I'm gonna use him as my lifeline as I lost the question. But as we all know, it is Veterans Day this week, and here at Step Up America, we are huge sponsors of veterans. I guess is not the right word, but supporters of veterans.
There we go.
And so today, keeping with Veterans Day and the Veterans Week, we have on today, he is a retired colonel. He spent 33 years in the United States Army. I would go over his resume, but like all of our previous guests, it is absurdly wrong, and it is full of incredible awards, but I assure you he is a great, great man. And today he has started something called the Veterans Treatment Court. He is the program coordinator and the founder of it. It works with veterans. We're going to dive into that fully in a minute, but we have to play our game first. But I wanted to just welcome retired Colonel DJ Reyes. DJ, how you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me, all you guys.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
It's our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
I'm sorry for our viewers. I don't have a picture of this fine gentleman.
Oh, that's okay. We'll fix that later on, Noah.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's also Thursday, which means we always have Sergeant Major's Corner. And we are blessed to have Sergeant Major Johnny Myers on the line with us as well. How are you, sir?
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, man of
many
words, as we always say. So, Colonel Reyes, here's how this works. Mark, unfortunately, lost the game, and he's got to throw a dart against the virtual map of the United States, and we're going to ask him some trivia questions. And Johnny and Colonel Reyes, you guys are able to help him out if he can't figure it out. So I'm going to get out of the way, let Mark do his thing here without hitting me in the eyeball, I hope.
So I'll scooch over. You got this, Mark. You got this. Ooh.
Alabama.
Oh, nice.
Have we done that one?
Alabama's
Oh, no.
the state. Alabama. Do you know
I don't think we've done
anybody
Alabama.
know it?
All right, so
Go ahead, Colonel. What were you going to say?
I am a 1979 graduate of the University of Notre Dame.
Oh,
So
boy.
Notre Damers and and Crimson Tiders have this love-hate relationship.
No, I gotcha.
Well,
So-
Colonel, we're going to get into it a little later, but as a Boston College double eagle you're talking to, we're going to have to put some type of a friendly bet on Saturday's ball game before we get to that.
Oh,
But anyway, I
Well,
will.
yes.
That's going to be
right.
something we discuss later on. I don't want to ruin the game.
Hey, Mark, you're
Yes.
not running the show
Okay,
right now.
Are you running it?
For temporarily.
Okay,
I
all
am
right.
because
We got some
it's-
questions
it's
for you.
very-
Alabama. All right, the capital of Alabama.
Okay,
is-
Mark, can you be quiet and let me run it? I'm
Okay,
just
go ahead,
saying,
let's see, go ahead.
dude. Just
Go first,
see
John.
if you can take a deep breath.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
ask your
we're
question.
gonna go with the state nickname first.
Alabama
What
is the.
Can I finish?
No, you can't. 'cause
For the
I got it
love
with
of
you.
God.
Alabama is the. What state?
You
is
want to
Alabama?
call in a lifeline?
Yeah, Colonel. Any idea what state is the nickname of Alabama? Sergeant Major. Alabama would be the.
No, I can't help you there. I'd like to, but not the nickname.
The Crimson Tide state?
No, absolutely not. I'm going to give you. You concede on that one.
No,
You-
give me one more second. It's not the Crimson.
We don't have all
All
day.
right, you got 10 seconds.
No, you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you lost that one. It's either the Cotton State or the Yellow Hammer State. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I
the
know.
Yellow
Yellow
Hammer
Hammer
State.
State,
All
that's
right,
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
interesting.
I'll take an L on that one. What's the next
All
one?
right, so what is the state capital of Alabama?
Birmingham.
Birmingham, Alabama. Going once, going twice.
Or was it Montgomery?
Why are you looking at me?
Is it Montgomery or Birmingham? Oh.
You have
Final
two,
answer.
You have 2 lifelines.
Final
on
answer.
the
Oh yeah, you
phone.
do have a lifeline. So
Colonel, any idea? Was it Montgomery or Birmingham?
Yeah, the first thing that jumped in my head was Montgomery.
All right,
I could be wrong.
I'm gonna switch Montgomery.
Montgomery is correct.
Yeah, nice. So-
Thank
Got
you.
it.
The lifeline came in handy.
Colonel, you would appreciate this. I spent some time in Montgomery, Alabama, when I was
Alright.
at Squadron Officer School. It was cool. So
Yeah, Maxwell.
Yep, Maxwell Air Force Base.
All right,
Right.
go ahead.
Yep.
All right. So the last one is state license plate slogan. There are 3 of them for Alabama.
The Crimson Tide state's got to be one of them.
No.
The Yellow
Okay.
Hammer
You
state.
said- wait, did you say there's like nicknames or slogans on the
License plate,
Alabama
yes.
license plate?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, but I'll just take a scientifically wild ass guess. I would say Roll Tide.
Good guess, but no cigar.
Oh, nice.
What are they? What are they?
All
I
right.
don't-
So first one, share the wonder.
All right.
There's Alabama the Beautiful,
Okay.
and I thought this one would have been an easy one. Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, yeah. we
Oh,
should- yeah.
that's right. Sweet Home Alabama. You're right.
Even a song.
Some more trivia. The 9th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Jim Hurt, lives in Birmingham.
He does.
Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all right, we had a fun with our game. So today, again, like I said earlier, we have a retired U.S. Colonel from the Army, and it's Veterans Day, and it was Veterans Day yesterday. It's Veterans Week. So today we're going to talk about what he does now. He runs and he has started something called the Veterans Treatment Court, or the VTC as they call it. But I'm going to stop talking, which is, I know, rare here. And
Yeah, amen.
I'm going to, oh, you're going to get it later, Macintosh. By the way,
Shocker.
you enjoying water? Because not anymore. Now you're cut off. You're running your mouth and no more water for you. Anyway, we're gonna let him get right into it. Please welcome everybody, Colonel DJ Reyes, and he is going to tell us all about the Veterans Treatment Court. Colonel.
Well, thank you very much again. So to put it into context, we've always known all along through the generations that when we send soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines to war, many of them don't come back quite right, or they have difficulties, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever the case may be. And we've had different terms for it, going all the way back to the Civil War, you know, soldier's heart, 1,000-mile stare, shell shock, you name it. But what we've noticed in, especially post 9/11, we noticed that there was this increasing and disturbing trend of veterans coming back, not all back from the wars, but many that were coming back from the wars, and they were getting in trouble with the law. And so back in 2008 in Buffalo, New York, a judge by the name of Judge Robert Russell, who still is the judge in Buffalo, New York, established the first Veterans Treatment Court. The whole purpose of that was although it was in a criminal court setting, it was not intended to be criminal punishment. Rather, it was intended to be a problem-solving court to identify underlying causes that could possibly have contributed to the criminal behavior of our veterans. And in addition, this court, when it was stood up in 2008, combined several aspects of different courts. It was a criminal court, but it was also a drug court, and it was a mental health court, because these are the two major types of symptoms or conditions we're seeing with many of our veterans that are entering our court. The other nuance with this court is that it is a diversionary court. And by that, what I mean is when a defendant, a veteran who's a defendant, comes before arraignment, at that point in time, and in many veteran treatment courts throughout the nation, and ours included, we have a public defender representative that identifies these veterans that are in jail and going to arraignment, and we identify them as veterans. And once we identify them as veterans, and through the state statute of Florida, go down the eligibility criteria and realize that they would be eligible for the Veterans Treatment Court, we then, the defense counsel will make a motion to the judge to divert the defendant out of the regular docket, the regular criminal court, and into the Veterans Treatment Court. The special court, like I said, in our court in Florida, it can last anywhere from 9 months to, we just graduated somebody who was in for 5 years. We just graduated him over a week ago.
Oh, wow.
And normally, the minimum time in the program is 9 months. On the average, people stay in there about a year, maybe about a year and a half. What's wonderful about this program is that, unlike a regular criminal court, we are reversed in our metrics of success, in that we graduate over 90 to 91% of our veterans that come into our court, and that those 91% do not come back in. They are not recidivists. Okay, so that's number one. So single digit recidivism. And then number two, at least in Hillsborough County, where the average cost is around $19,000 to $20,000 per annum to house a defendant in a county jail here in Hillsborough, our docket fluctuates. Right now we're around 100, but last year we went up to as high as 225. So you're looking at a range of $2 to $4.5 million, $5 million in county taxes that are recaptured because we don't put them in jail. Rather, we keep them out of jail. We wrap a community service team around them, their legal team, their medical team with the VA that provides treatment. We have volunteer veteran mentors, of which I am the head volunteer veteran mentor and the program coordinator for that. And then we help them with all their other attendant issues, such as housing, employment, education, community service, reintegration back to the community, and with the veteran service organization. Here's the reason why we do this. By the time they graduate, we want to give them the tools, and we want to get them the treatment so that they're as whole again as we could possibly make them. And we want to reintegrate them back into the local community that they earlier raised their right hand and they swore to uphold, defend, and to protect. That's what we do. It's received rave reviews all the way up at the national level. I in fact, last June of 2019, I belonged to a national alliance, and I was able to brief our program in the White House to the White House staffers, and then on Capitol Hill with Congressman Charlie Crist, who actually was the sponsor of the recent national bill for the Veterans Treatment Court that was signed in August by President Trump, which will now federalize funding for all VTCs in all of the United States. So that's kind of like the 50,000-foot view. There's a lot packed in there. There's a lot to this. That's a good 50,000-foot view and perspective of our program.
So, Colonel, that's amazing. And what the VTC is actually doing is beyond amazing. And one of the things that we've had the honor of, I've had the honor of speaking with you offline about what we do here, which is all about teaching our youth civics and U.S. history and trying to create young men and women that are incredible citizens going forward. And we use this podcast not to only celebrate veterans, but to celebrate just good Americans. And one of the common themes that always comes across when we invite our guests are, number one, they're good people. They care about this country. They care about their people. Care about giving back. And you yourself, sir, being retired, could go off and do anything in the world, right? And you chose to continue to give back to your country. So that leads me to ask you, what made you or what prompted you to get involved with the VTC?
That's a great question, and it's a question that's often asked. And so there are many reasons, but if I had to point to one, it would be that during my time on active duty, I realized there were many veterans, and as you all know, the military makes up less than 1% of our general population. But yet, you can ask anecdotally of many of our veterans that are active duty, and you'll find that many of them have multiple tours, multiple deployments into the sandbox and other contingency areas. And so, what I noted in my deployments, and especially in positions where I was in charge of folks, we actually had some issues. We had some problems with several of our service members, not their fault, whether they were going through challenges while deployed, or there were family problems and family issues which were affecting them and their operational effectiveness while in the box. And that's dangerous to any unit. A sergeant major can tell you, you got to be game on, and you have to have everybody's head's got to be in the game. And if you're distracted by something at home, as I would always tell everybody, any little problem at home is going to be magnified 1,000 times when you're 7,000 miles away. Okay, and so what I saw was this recurring theme of that. And then when I came back home, one of my tours as a brigade commander, but I was still deploying teams, my wife and I ran our family readiness group, or FRGs, and we noted a lot of challenges, a lot of issues. And that just told me, we can have all the programs in the world, but at the end of the day, it's about the human touch and the human interaction. It's about, and that's what I loved about the military so much, and the FRG and the closed culture, if you will, of people that supported themselves, supported our community. And so when I realized that and I retired, I also realized, wow, one day I'm in the military and I'm Colonel so-and-so, and the next day I'm Mr. So-and-so or DJ or worse, hey you, which I did get. And so for me, personally, it was a culture shock that I had to acclimatize to. It was, I'm not in the military anymore, even though I worked as a civilian on the military side for a little while. I realized after about 1 year doing that at US SOCOM in the civilian capacity, I wasn't at the tip of the spear anymore. And I realized there was a big gap in my life. And I think that gap was, I felt a need to keep serving, but I wasn't sure how to do it. And it was through a lot of fortune that I found out about the Veterans Treatment Court, which they were just starting it up in 2013 when I was watching a special on it on television about another VTC in Harris County, which is in San Antonio, Texas. And that just drove me to go to the court and with friends find out what's going on, and the rest is really history. That's why I was very blessed to be on the ground floor of this when it stood up. I've been through 3 VTC judges. Our current one now is Judge Michael Shante, who, by the way, I just have to say this, when he was a captain, he was a SJA, Staff Judge Advocate, for a brigade commander in the box during the invasion, who's one of my best friends in the 3rd Infantry Division, while I was in the 101st Airborne Division in the initial incursion force that went in 2003. The first judge that we had for the VTC was the magistrate for the Special Ops Task Force in Balad during the surge in 2007, when I was the director of the Multinational Force Intel and Operations Center for my old boss, General Petraeus. He was in Al-Fal Palace in Baghdad. But that magistrate who was handling stuff for the other unit with General McChrystal was Judge Weiss. He was the first judge here, and we met. Didn't even know that we knew each other. And it was in that interview that I had in 2013 when I realized we were in the same place at the same time, and I was supporting operations for detainees and capturing and bringing them to him and he was adjudicating them. He looked at me and I looked at him and I said, this was made to be. I'm supposed to be here right now talking to you. And this is what he said to me. He said, DJ, I'm starting the program. I don't have a judicial administrative order. I have no money. I have no staff and I have no mentors. Are you willing to help me? And I can't pay you. And I said, in a New York minute. And that's how it started in September 2013.
No, that's awesome, and that's an incredible story. And I want you to share with our listeners how people can get involved with the VTC. But you'll be proud to know, Colonel, that one of our partners is our American Dream Team from NASCAR, who goes out, and big shout out to Colin and Ryan Garrett, who drive this car. It's crowd-funded, and they do it to raise awareness on PTSD. And so just like people like you, Colonel, we want to surround ourselves with people that are doing good for our country. And we also have another great partner in New Day USA. We want to give them a shout-out as well. Who does an incredible job with financing homes, mortgages for our veterans and active duty people. And we just want to continue to surround ourselves here at the Step Up America Foundation with people like yourselves who are selfless. And you said it, and I don't need to reiterate it, Colonel, because you did a fabulous job doing that. But more importantly, if somebody wants to learn more about the VTC and the incredible work you're doing, how can they go about doing that?
Or get involved, Colonel. Like if somebody,
Yeah,
what's the best website for them to go to?
Absolutely, and it's simple. All they have to do is just visit our website, and I can give it to you right now, and also pass it to you on an email. But here it is. It's www.hillsborough-county-mentors, all one word, .org. If you get on that website, it lays out our vision, our mission statement, our focus, our history of not only the Veterans Treatment Court, but also our mentor program. On the first page, I would invite everyone when they check in on the website. On the first page, you'll see a column. There's two columns. On the left, it says "In the News," and on the right, it says court. I think VTC court dates. Okay, so that's when we meet. Now it's virtually because of COVID. It used to be physical. Hopefully, we'll be back soon in session. But on the left side in the news, I've literally listed for the last several years all the more notable web links for TV interviews, media, newspaper articles, everything that you can imagine. I've put on there, and if folks access that and read that, they'll get a deeper appreciation not only of the program, but also of the Tampa VTC program and what we've done and how we've been able to very fortunately connect, the thread from, as I like to call it, from the tactical, operational to strategic level of VTC problem solving. The other thing I want to mention real quick before I forget is this month and next month, in conjunction with one of our members on the National Veterans Court Alliance, he's a recently retired Chief Justice of the Kansas State Supreme Court, the Honorable Lawton Nuss, a Marine. And he ran a tight ship out there, still does, even though he's retired. He's sponsoring the first ever regional Veterans Treatment Court conference that's going to cover a whole bunch of Midwestern states out there, to include South Dakota, Vermont, and the U.S. tribal courts of Arizona, Oklahoma, and Kansas. This is a wonderful opportunity because he's going to lay out with some guest speakers, again, the history of the VTC, programmatics, how to set it up, challenges, best practices. He's going to have one session on the 19th of November on virtual, and then December 17th is the second. I'm the guest speaker on the 17th of December. So he'll pipe me in, and I'll give a presentation to that crowd that I believe he's running it out of Topeka, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to put a shout out to Chief Justice Nuss because I literally email him, and he's emailing me every day. So, but I know he would want to get that promotion as well.
Awesome. So, Colonel, here's our promise to you: is once we publish this, we'll put all of your information out there, so our listeners and you can share it as well. But if you're out there, let's get people involved in the VTC and what Colonel Reyes is doing. It's a admirable thing to do. It's an incredible thing to do. It's a selfless thing to do. So we're going to get behind you, Colonel. But now I'm going to have to subject you, which is always a pleasure. Not subject you. I guess that's the wrong word. I'm going to enlighten you with what we call Sergeant Major's Corner.
Or introduce you to
Sergeant Major's
Yes.
Corner. Thank you, Adrian. And Sergeant Major, you want to take us away here for Sergeant Major's Corner?
Yes, and welcome, listeners, to Sergeant Major's Corner. But I would like to say thank you, Colonel, for your military service and your continued service as a civilian. We often speak on this show regarding how much the less than 1% who are active duty and the less than 10% who are veterans constantly give back to this country. And as I stated yesterday during Veterans Day, it's not to castigate anyone else, but it's to raise the level of importance of our veterans and our men and women in uniform. So thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. Who? Army Strong.
All the way and then some.
There you go.
That's the most words I've heard you speak, Sergeant Major Myers. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, today I'm going to speak about an individual who was a framer of our Constitution. And that document has basically set the stage for the growth of our nation. That Constitution would not have been possible without the leadership of George Washington as our first commander-in-chief and subsequently as our first president. George Washington was a learned individual, self-taught, and he understood a few things about the fledgling nation that he was about to pass on to another president. And in his farewell address, he referenced the importance of unity. Washington's farewell address urged Americans not to put their regional and sectional interests above the interests of the nation as a whole. He stated, "You have in common cause, fought and triumphed together." He further declared, "The independence and liberty you possess are the work of joint councils and joint efforts, common dangers, sufferings, and successes. Regions such as North, South, East, and West should see their common interests rather than their differences," he continued. "Your union ought to be considered as a main prop of your liberty, and the love of the one ought to endear you to the preservation of the other." He further referenced the worst enemy of government, loyalty to party over nation. According to Washington, one of the chief dangers of letting regional loyalties dominate loyalty to the nation as a whole was that it would lead to factionalism or the development of competing political parties. When Americans voted according to party loyalty rather than the common interest of the nation, Washington feared it would foster a spirit of revenge and enable the rise of cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men who would usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion. In fact, political parties had already begun to emerge by the time Washington stepped aside. Federalists, who drew their support largely from New England, advocated a strong national government and the fiscal programs created by Hamilton, the nation's first Secretary of the Treasury. Republicans, later Democratic Republicans, led by Southerners like Thomas Jefferson and Madison, opposed Hamilton's economic policies. They also split with the Federalists in foreign policy, favoring a closer relationship with France over Great Britain. Washington supported Hamilton's financial programs and sided with the Federalists in supporting the Jay Treaty with Britain. By the end of his presidency, Washington was weathering increasingly bitter attacks from his Republican critics, and his farewell address represented his response to such attacks, as well as a more general statement of his principles. He recognized the danger of foreign entanglements, just as regionalism would lead to the formation of political parties. Washington believed partisanship would open the door to foreign influence and corruption. While he advocated for the United States to be on good terms with all nations, especially commercial relations, he argued that inveterate antipathies against particular nations and passionate attachments for others should be excluded. Europe had its own very complicated set of interests, and the United States should keep its distance from foreign affairs, Washington believed. A foreign policy based on neutrality is the safest way to maintain national unity and stability in the United States. Although Washington saw the need for the nation to involve itself in foreign affairs in the case of war or other emergencies, he argued that it must steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world. Washington's legacy is in his farewell address. It was rooted in specific challenges he saw facing the United States at the time, including increasing internal divisions and the ongoing external threat of invasion by stronger nations. But his eloquent message of unity and his warning against regionalism, partisanship, and foreign influence ensured the address would become one of the most widely reprinted documents in American history, with powerful implications that continue to resonate today. In his farewell address of 1796, Washington thanked the American people for their love and support, and then cautioned and counseled them to protect the unity of government that they had so recently earned and that remained, he said, so dear to you. The first president warned Americans to hold strong against divisive attacks from within. First president left his farewell address for us to revisit when we needed it. He hoped his words may be productive of some partial benefit, some occasional good, that they may now and then recur to moderate the fury of party spirit, to warn against the mischief of foreign intrigue, to guard against the impostures of pretend patriotism. It's up to Americans and our political leaders to choose whether to heed Washington and reject hyper-partisan factionalism, disinformation, and the power grabs of the cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled among us. As Washington wrote, the alternative is permanent despotism. This is the greatest national security threat for all. Thank you for listening. That ends Sergeant Major Corner.
Hooah! So I'm gonna say this, Johnny, and I think President Washington's words are needed now more than ever. And I will preface this with our foundation does not, I don't know how else to explain it, engage in politics. But in this day and age where we have regional and sectional divisions, George Washington's words could not ring more true than today, in my opinion. And as a nation, we need to get back to focusing on the nation, not parties, not who you're voting for. Doesn't matter. It's about our culture. It's about teaching kids what's right, what's wrong, without any political involvement. Mark, you were gonna.
I was going to say it's almost like teaching people to be a good citizen.
I know.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like at
Who
the end
does
of the
that?
day-
No, I know.
What
Well,
group
we
does
do.
that? Hey!
It's like
So-
at the end of the day, we're all Americans and we're all in this together. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Well-
we love that we can sit here on a podcast, right, and have some fun
Absolutely.
and chat with incredible people. And yeah, that's what I'm not going to get deep into this, but I love the words Sergeant Major Myers, and Sergeant Major's Corner is always enlightening. And yeah, I don't think you could have brought that message from George Washington and Sergeant Major's Corner at a more perfect time in this country.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Let me add this, that this country has found its way to meld together unity in the past. And in a tradition dating back to the years following the Civil War, a member of the U.S. Senate reads Washington's farewell address aloud each year to observe Washington's birthday. And the reading assignment alternates between members of each political party. So we have the foundation of what right looks like. It is there for us. All we have to do is open our eyes to see it.
Hua.
Ooh.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Colonel Reyes, what did you think of Sergeant Major's Corner?
Well, I got to tell you, I was listening. I was enraptured by the Sergeant Major's address, and all I kept thinking, the first thought I thought was, I don't ever remember Sergeant Major talking like that to me when I accidentally walked on the grass. When I accidentally walked on the lawn or the grass. The Sergeant
my
Majors that I
goodness.
know, they talk in very plain, direct, active voice.
Something
So
tells me
it also,
that he used to talk that way. Sorry.
yeah. So I want to say to the Sergeant Major, that was a wonderful expose. That was, and again, listening to it, I kept thinking to myself, geez, I feel like I just turned on the TV and I'm listening to some commentary on TV right now, because it is never so more relevant and applicable now, said centuries ago, but it's never more applicable and relevant right now. And so that was wonderful. And it was a wonderful reminder for all of us. And it's hard, because we're in the knife fight. Everybody's in this, knife fight. So it's hard to kind of see strategically, kind of difficult sometimes to pull your head out of the foxhole and get the grander view of things. But that's a good wake me up call, a good refresher, a good azimuth check on, hey, this is really, hey folks, we're not the enemy. We're all friends. We're all Americans. So let's band together.
Hua.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm an Air Force guy, so I don't normally say hua, but
Does the Air Force have one of those? Do they have
I got it. Hey, I got to tell you. So for the Sergeant Major and for our brethren here, the slogans. Of course, the Army is hua. The Navy is hooyah. The Marines is oorah. And the Air Force is, hey, when's happy hour?
You're dang right.
it's-
That's why we're
oh.
the smart ones, Colonel.
It's
That's why
That's
we're the smart ones.
That is great.
Colonel, I was going to make some Air Force jokes, but you did it for me, so I didn't have to. That was fantastic.
That was a
Hey,
good one.
hey,
That-
Colonel, where's
that
the
was a good
Coast
one.
Guard for Dr. Vince Patton? Where does that
That's
one
true.
hang
That's
out
true.
there?
We get
The
a.
Coast Guard. Wait a minute.
It's got to be worse than the Air Force. Come on.
This is a purple audience, and so we must treat all of our brothers and sisters across all the services, even the Coast Guard, with due respect.
I love it.
No, I hear you. So the cool thing about veterans is we can joke and laugh, and we take
course.
zero offense. That's the beautiful thing about the whole.
I do want
to
to share something with you guys though, and it was real quickly. I was asked. Long story short, I was asked by a good friend to help out his friend's child who was working on a school project on Veterans Day. So he sends me all these questions. He said, DJ, I think you could probably add a little bit more, spice to this, all these questions. When I read the questions, I realized, wow, this young man is actually asking me very thoughtful questions. And he's asking me about what's it like to be a veteran? What's it like to be away from family? What's it like to be deployed? What are those things going on in my mind? And then what do I believe in our nation? Things about our nation, all these things that you all believe in on this podcast. And so, without going into the entire essay, and I can send it to you later, you can read it. But basically, I said to him, one of the lessons I learned being deployed on combat tours is when you're with your buddies, they're the reason why you want to come home. You want to come home because you want your buddies to make it. You want to make it, and that you realize very quickly that it really doesn't matter who your buddies are, whether male, female, black, white, whatever color, whatever race, whatever gender, whatever religious belief, whatever political belief. It really doesn't matter. But there is one thing that matters, that when it hits the fan, and especially if you're under attack, you want to know that your buddies to your left and right are qualified on their weapon, and they're able to shoot effectively and protect you, and they're going to expect the same standard from you. And I think, and so my point to the young man was, unfortunately, it takes the crucible, an extreme situation like that, for us as people, as human beings, to care for one another at the very base level. And I said, but you find that out when you're put in an extreme situation. What are you going to do? Are you going to just, run hightail? Are you going to stand and fight? You're going to protect your brother or sister? Are you going to say, no, not on my watch. I'm not leaving my buddy on the battlefield. Okay. And I think that goes back earlier to your question of why do you do what you do? Why do all veterans do what they do? Many that even leave the service or even retire, they have this need for service because the military built this ethos in all of us. It's an ethos of selfless service, of a higher mission and a higher calling, bigger than any one person. We have an old saying in the Army, you can take the soldier out of the Army, but you can't take the Army out of the soldier. And I believe that really epitomizes when I see my brothers and sisters out there, God bless them, in Hillsborough County, doing all kinds of community projects. And nationally, all kinds of community projects. Why? They're doing it because of that. Because it's about service. It's about service to your fellow brother and sister. It's about not leaving anybody behind. And I think that's a strong tenet and principle within our Veterans Treatment Corps. And we're very proud of that, as I would suspect all veteran treatment corps throughout our nation feel the same way.
Excellent. So, in the terms of the Army, hooah! And in the terms of the Air Force, wins happy hour.
There you go, Mac. You'll learn.
So, all right, Colonel, you're not getting off the hook here because when we have special guests like yourself, you got to indulge in what we call the trivia game. Now, here's the rules, Colonel. You're going to get some trivia questions, 5 of them, and you have the capability to call on a lifeline. Sergeant Major Myers, who is actually won yesterday's championship. We're actually, hey, Sergeant Major, I'm going to drive the trophy to you rather than ship it, since I'll see you in 2 weeks. So I'm going to bring the trophy, but all of our guests are subjected to this, Colonel. And are you ready to begin? Do you have any questions about the rules? Are you ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, let's just get it going, and we'll figure it out as we move along.
All right. Well, once again, we have on the line Colonel DJ Reyes, and he is the founder and program coordinator of the Veterans Court. You can check them out on the web at www.hillsboroughcountymentors.org. After the show is over, we will update the text in the messages so you can check it out yourself. But as I was in charge of the trivia, I always like to make the trivia towards the guest's background. And after looking through the Colonel's resume. I discovered as a Boston College Eagle that the Colonel attended Notre Dame. My rivalry, especially this weekend, as the 7-0 Notre Dame Irish are playing the 5-3 BC Eagles. I thought we would give the Colonel a trivia test on Notre Dame football. Are you ready, Colonel?
Oh no!
Question one.
Uh-oh.
Here you go. Famous coach Newt Rockne. How did he die?
Oh, my.
Peacefully?
He died of. It was an illness. No, wait a minute. Was he? Oh no, was he the
Colonel,
crash?
you got lifelines. Just Sergeant Myers in the background, so don't be afraid to use them.
Sir Meyer, are you a big football trivia guy?
Was it a plane crash?
It was Sergeant Major. He did die in a plane crash.
Oh wow.
There
Colonel-
you go.
Colonel,
Thank
don't
you.
feel bad, by the way. Sergeant Major usually answers for most of our guests. So,
Awesome.
question number
I
two.
knew it was. It was either pneumonia or it was a plane crash. I was trying to remember. I didn't want to conflate that with another famous coach.
All right. Well, when you are a Notre Dame player and you are running out onto the field, you tap a sign in the
Yeah.
alleyway on the way out. What does that sign say?
Play like a champion.
All right. There you go, Colonel.
Hooah! Or when's happy hour?
Yeah, so that's going to be my new one, by the way. Colonel, there was a famous movie about a Notre Dame player named Rudy, and they chant his name. What is Rudy's first name in real life?
It's Rudy. It's Rudy Rudiger.
It is actually Daniel Rudiger. So that's a great
Oh.
yes.
Ah.
It is
Is it
Daniel.
really?
Hey, let me get.
Ah.
Okay, so let me give you a tidbit.
Okay.
Since you won't give me that credit. When he made that famous tackle on the Georgia Tech quarterback, I was a freshman in the stands watching it.
We
No
really?
kidding.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's cool as can be.
Awesome.
I actually, Colonel, I'll tell you a little trivia. I actually went to a game when I was a freshman in high school to watch Rocket Ismail. My father was the former.
Ishmael. Oh, yeah.
We went out to that game. I was a big fan of that. So
So I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Maryland grad, and there's other than basketball, there's very few times I get to brag about the football program. I'm being real here, but the first time that Maryland beat Penn State, my dad was in the stands at the University of Maryland going to school there, and we just beat them last weekend for the first time.
You did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Oh
did.
my God. Yeah. I
That's a
just
big
had
deal.
to throw that out there
No,
because that
I-
never happens,
by the way,
Mark.
Maryland is not terrible. It's been okay over the years. Not,
No, yeah, no, don't get me started. I
Okay.
could talk for 4 hours about it, but anyway, I love my alma mater.
All right, we still have a couple.
Well,
of
one
questions.
one thing I would call a point of order on, Mark. You asked the good Colonel what was his name. You didn't ask what was his first name.
Oh, that's all right. I don't argue with Sergeant Major. So,
Ooh.
all right, we'll call that one a wash. We'll give you.
Well, it's not a
Well,
wash.
well,
It's either a win or
All
a
I'm going
not
to
win.
say is Sergeant Major Esquire
There
coming
we
to
go.
the defense.
All right, well,
There's a
here's
Ring to that.
all right.
There
So
are two questions left.
hang
two
on,
questions
hang
left.
on. We got 2 questions left, but is that one a
We're
yes?
gonna,
We're
give
gonna
him,
go.
We're gonna give him that one right.
All right,
Give him
we're
that one
going
first.
with yes. You get that one.
But all right, so there's 2 left. The last one's the hardest. But so this one is, who do you win one for if you're playing for Notre Dame? You got,
Oh, I knew that one.
right,
I'm not even
all right.
a Notre Dame fan. The question would have been, would Adrian have known that?
No.
Nope.
I
The
know.
answer is nope. I would not have known any of these, as a matter of fact.
Adrian and Noah are still children. For
Yeah,
God's
I
sakes.
know. All right, so
I'm
no,
only 26.
Yeah,
All right.
again, like I said, you're still children.
no. Hang on, Mark.
all right.
No pressure here because we might have to go out and buy another trophy.
The
If
title
you can,
here, yeah.
If you can pull this one off, and I'm going to be in the Tampa area to visit Sergeant Major Myers in less than 2 weeks. And if you get this right, I'm going to have to order a trophy and
Yeah, it's
deliver
gonna-
it
it's
to
gonna be
you
another
too,
one.
Colonel. So
But this
here we
one's
go.
tough. So this is it.
right.
How many
All right.
titles? How many national championships have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish won?
Oh, hold on a second.
No
The
using
last
your.
one was over 30 years ago, 88. Wait, no. Hold on a second. 88, let's see, 88, 73, 66, 45, 46, 47.
Just envision counting.
I'm going to go with 7.
Okay,
Sergeant Major?
but I say 11.
Oh.
Sergeant Major, you
Well,
never
hang
lose.
on before. Colonel, do you want to call on a lifeline to Sergeant Major Myers?
I'm going to call on a
just
lifeline.
asking.
I'm going to call on the Sergeant Major because I think it's more than 7 now that I think about it.
It is
But I
11,
forget
and the
the old-
Sergeant Major has won again. It is 11.
There you go.
Man, impeccable.
When I made this test, I forgot there was Sergeant Major's corner, so I should have made it a little harder. I know he's a football fan.
So- All right. All right, Colonel, the pressing question is, do I deliver, this is the question we had yesterday, do I deliver the trophy to you or Sergeant Major Myers? Because he's already, I'm just saying.
He would, when I was in Afghanistan, I would refer to Sergeant Major as the guy like behind the screen. For this contest, he was the Taliban shadow governor.
Well, everybody, we have another champion of trivia today. Retired Colonel Reyes has won the trivia with Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Round of applause.
Hey, everybody, once again.
There we go.
Once again, Colonel Reyes is the founder of the Veterans Treatment Court, or the VTC as it's called. You can check out their website, www.hillsboroughcountymentors.org. We will put that up on our Facebook page after this is all done. It is an incredible program. Check them out. Find out how you can get involved with them, again, at their website, www.hillsboroughcountymentors.org. Adrian, if somebody wanted to get in touch with us, what would they do?
So for our viewers and listeners out there, please visit our website, stepupamericaprogram.org, or you can just contact us directly via email, info@stepupamericaprogram.org.
Excellent.
Gentlemen, can I just inject just one comment,
Absolutely.
please, if I may?
Go ahead.
Okay, so because you guys talk very fast, and I'm just an old soldier, so it takes time for me to process this. But I am not the founder of the Veterans Treatment Court. Okay, I helped establish the Veterans Treatment Court, but I am the founder of the VTC Mentor Program, which is a critical part of the Veterans Treatment Court, and I am part of the VTC team. But the VTC here in Tampa was stood up by our first judge. I should have said that earlier. Judge Richard Weiss, let me just mention this, and he had it for a couple years, and then the Honorable Gregory P. Holder took his place for a couple years, and then he turned it over to the current judge, which is the Honorable Michael J. Shante, who still has it today. And I support them. I'm a supporting arm to this great program. So I just have to say that.
No,
I could have said it sooner. I was trying to get my word in.
No, I apologize, Colonel, and we apologize for that, but here's the cool thing. Your selflessness is shining through once again, and here's our commitment to you. Just like we said, we're going to direct anybody and everybody we can to your program, and because the VTC and what you're doing is selfless, and it's a great program for this country, our veterans, and that's our commitment to you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
And
I
I
really appreciate it, guys.
And I apologize, Colonel. I'm the one who talks fast. The Boston accent flies out of my mouth at 100 miles an hour. So I get that a lot.
Well, once I realized it was a BC Eagle on the other end, I automatically reverted to like playing defense.
Yeah, there you go.
Question.
Why you
to
don't?
make sure.
Hey, I'm just saying, Colonel. When do you ever have to play defense against BC? I'm just saying.
Easy,
I'm just saying.
easy.
Hey, you never. Hey, listen. You have our quarterback who left.
Yeah,
He left Notre Dame to go to BC. So this is going to be the return of the prodigal son. This could be a great media thing for Boston College. Of course, I'll be cheering for Notre Dame, but I'm very wary of what could possibly happen, especially after the big Clemson win. There could be a letdown, so we all got to be concerned about that.
I'll tell
Gotcha.
you, BC plays Notre Dame very hard every game, and there's always a chance
They
of
do.
an upset. So I'm hoping for the best.
But it's, as we know, it's the holy war.
Yeah, absolutely,
I
yeah.
know.
It
And
is the Holy War.
I love you guys, and I love. I used to love ACC football, but we got to close this show
Yeah, no,
out.
it's
I'm
4
always
o'clock.
got
I
to be
didn't
the
realize
rude.
it was.
I always got to be the rude guy. Sergeant Major Myers, any parting words for us?
No, thank you for listening.
Oh
Thank you,
God, I
Sergeant.
love you, Sergeant Major. I swear.
Happy Veterans Week.
There we go.
Absolutely.
All right, Marky, you want to sign us off?
I do. Once again, we had Colonel DJ Reyes with us. Colonel, thank you so much for joining us. We can't thank you enough. Check out, again, his website, his company's website, his program's website. I'm out of it. www.hillsboroughcountymentors.org. Colonel, thank you again so much for joining us. Everybody, on behalf of John, Adrian, Noah, we want to say thank you for tuning in, and always remember what Ben Franklin says: be kind to others and your best to yourself. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you next Tuesday.
Hooah!
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Wins
Bye-bye.
happy hour.
Bye.